Hey YouTube, Enlightened Arts here, coming at you guys with garden update number 6, organic hydroponic nutrients. As the title would suggest, what I wanted to talk to you guys today was just organic nutrients and their use and place in a hydroponic system, such as the one that I have running right here. So what I wanted to first start off talking about was the current system's base levels. Right now my pH is hovering somewhere between 4.9 and 5.4, and the parts per million is 558. In terms of the pH, everything I've read tells me that the ideal range for hydroponic plant growth is anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5. And now, even though that my pH is hovering somewhere on the low end of that scale, it seems to be working really well. And what I've learned in my experience with growing organically and using organic mediums and nutrients is that the pH really doesn't matter as much as it does as if you were growing synthetics, which have to be carefully monitored to make sure, because they force feed the plant through the use of their synthetic chelating salts. So when you're growing organically, it's more about balancing certain ratios and balancing the nitrogen and the phosphorus and the potassium more than making sure the pH is spot on, because in an organic system the nutrients are more mellow. They take time to decompose, which gives the plant time to react and adapt to the food that they are receiving, as well as other factors such as light and moisture and other things that cause the plant to affect its growth. So with that little note being said, what I'm going to do now is just run you guys through what I have in the system. When I first started off, I only had this mixture in the reservoir. It is 2 parts blood meal, 2 parts bat guano, 1 part bone meal, and half a part green sand. I thought that this would be a good blend to add to introduce to my system, because it's a solid blend of organic nutrients that have a high nitrogen base. The blood meal, the bone meal, and the bat guano all have high nitrogen. The bat guano has a good bit of phosphorus, but the other 2 are primarily nitrogen powerhouse nutrients. And the reason that there's 3 of them is because I wanted to give the system a good dose of nitrogen to begin, but when you're using organic materials, what you have to keep in mind is that they're going to decompose. And what that means is that is when the nutrients become available to the plant, when they begin their decomposition. So, for example, there's bone meal and blood meal in this. The blood meal, the nutrients from that are going to be available to the plant almost immediately. The bone meal, which is granular and is a sort of a hard rock-like substance, that's going to take longer to break down in the system. And so that nitrogen is slow release, which will benefit the plant later on in its life. If not later this week before I change the water out. But that's why that is in there. The green sand is probably the most important addition in this mix, and the reason for that is because it single-handedly delivers 84 trace vitamins and minerals that the plant requires for its growth. So if you were to really begin one of these, the green sand is really a must. It's extremely important to provide your plants with the vitamins and minerals it needs when it's young, so that it comes into the world happy and ready to grow quickly and produce a new generation. After I had this mix in the reservoir bubbling for a while, I decided it was time to kick it up a notch. And so what I did was I added this product right here, which is Fox Farm Big Bloom. This is one of my favorite products. It's an unbelievable product. It's basically an organic tea bottled and just shipped right to your door. It's made with earthworms castings and bat guano, which means that it's just completely full of good microlife and microscopic bacteria that's going to benefit any grow medium or grow system into which you place it. The NPK numbers on this were really mellow at 0.01, 0.3, and 0.7, which was part of the reason I added it. Once I saw that, I knew it would be extremely safe to add, and it would just be a great way to slowly but surely start introducing the cucumber plant here to some nutrients. Okay, so now once I had added these two, I had, you know, my trace minerals, my nitrogen, a little bit of phosphorus, and my nitrogen and everything, as I said. So what I thought the grow system was lacking was some soft rock phosphate or some other source of phosphorus. So what I did was, at first, I added some of this Happy Frog fruit and flower fertilizer. This right here is another one of my favorite products. It's a go-to for all of my organic soil growing. I love to use it for top dressing and spiking. Spiking with this product is unbelievably effective and is one of my favorite things to do in an organic soil container. These hot habanero hot peppers right here have spikes in between each of them, which will hopefully provide for some amazing blooms in a couple weeks. But the reason I added this was because it not only does it have active microlife in it, but it had a good bit of phosphorus as well as some more nitrogen. So I went ahead and added that, and after that happened, my pH raised pretty high. It was coming in around 7.3 to 7.7, and so that led me to my next nutrient, which is my oyster shell flour. This oyster shell flour is a great source of calcium, organic, obviously, and it also has a secondary effect, which is why I added it in the first place, which is a pH buffering. As I said, the organic growing styles really give you a lot more forgiveness with the pH, and this oyster shell flour is no exception. Simply by adding a little bit, probably about I'd say a cup of this, my pH dropped down to the aforementioned ranges before, the 4.7 to the 5.3. So right away that just benefited the system. And in my experience with growing fruiting and flowering plants, they just absolutely love calcium. They completely eat it up. They use a ton of it during flowering. And one of the reasons for that might be is that the microlife in your soil or your soilless grow medium absolutely love calcium. It's one of their primary food sources, along with the simple carbohydrates and the sugars they receive from the plants. But that is definitely a must add to this. So after that, I started thinking about the phosphorus again and how it benefits the root growth. So I went ahead and added Dr. Earth bat guano, or sorry, soft rock phosphate. As you can see, the NPK numbers are 020, and since I already had a pretty substantial amount of nitrogen in it, I thought that was a great way to add some phosphorus to my system. This Dr. Earth bat guano is here just to show you guys what it looked like. This is one of the nutrients that was in the aforementioned mix that I started off the system with. Great nutrient for nitrogen. As you can see, the 1031. Just a little bit of phosphorus, but I would have to say that little bit of phosphorus and this definitely helped my cucumber out early on in the grow. So just to sum everything up, in the reservoir I had Fox Farm Big Bloom, blood meal, bone meal, bat guano, green sand, oyster shell flour, soft rock phosphate, and Happy Frog fruit and flower fertilizer. Just to show you guys that the system is doing well, I wanted to just give you a quick comparison. This right here is obviously the hydroponic cucumber. This over here is one that was planted in soil the exact same day within minutes. So as you can see by the comparison, the one in the hydroponic system is really starting to take off. It's definitely surpassed that one with growth, and I believe it will continue to do so as long as I can maintain the nutrient mixture and the levels that I have provided the plant so far. The part per million of this is sitting at 548, which is pretty low. One of the reasons I'm surprised this plant has grown like it has. But right now my plans are to just monitor the parts per million. It's been slowly increasing with the decomposition of the organic matter that's located in the reservoir. So in a couple of days I'll check it and see if there's any drastic changes. If not, I'm probably going to play it by ear and just let things go along as they are for at least another week. Currently I have not yet changed the water in the reservoir. The system has been operational for about 3 weeks, so I'm definitely ready to change the water at some point here soon. But as of right now, I'm extremely pleased with the results. I couldn't have been happier with the results from my own mixture of nutrients, which is probably one of the most rewarding things about this grow for me so far, is the fact that I haven't relied on any system, and I've been building my own nutrient system with just the products I already have, which is always a good feeling. Later on in this month, I'm going to be going into more depth and get a little bit more scientific with the nutrients and why I add them. I'll be posting an organic soil video at some point soon with all the amendments that I place into the soil, as well as a hydroponic version for this grow. So until then, I hope this video satisfied some of your guys' curiosity about how I'm doing these nutrients and how organic nutrients can be used in hydroponics. Thanks for you guys' time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enlighten Arts signing off. Live, love, and learn.